Come on, look at that. Chicken Dopiaza made. That is superb. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Rick. Today we're making chicken Dopiaza, one of my favourite curries. In fact, it's one of my all-time favourite curries actually. I love curries with lots of onions in. And the flavour profile from the onions, the fried onions, the steamed onions, everything in here, just wow, it pops the curry. So I've got a whole bunch of onions and I've got a couple of tomatoes. Now, Dopiaza, some places around the country or wherever, some chefs put a little bit of pepper in, red, yellow, green, whatever, and fry it in there. Now, I'm not putting pepper in today, and the reason I'm not putting pepper in, I couldn't get any. So we're making a bog standard chicken Dopiaza. Show you how to do it right now. And I'm using chicken breast today. There's 4 chicken breasts in there and they're quite large, so this will actually feed a family. Not a problem. Just need a couple of tubs. Right, tomatoes. Let's start with the tomato. What we're going to do is quarter it like that and chuck in a bowl. Now the prep for this is onions. The rest of it's fairly straightforward. Well, it's all straightforward. You just cut in onions and we all cry. So don't worry about that. This pan's out of line, look. There we go. Onions. We want some cubed onions and we want some slices. Now the cubed onions, obviously, we're just going to cube. And when you put them in the bowl, try and loosen them up. Now it's not critical, but it certainly helps when it comes to cooking them in the pan. So loosen up your onions. And it is all about the onions this, so we are going to be using quite a few actually. I've got 8 large onions here. So again, half an onion, straight through there. Now, if you notice, I always cut on an angle like that into an onion for cubes. The reason for that is that this is a round, okay, and all those little segments in there, they're just rounded, as you can see, so it's just easier to do it really. I keep getting questions about knives. Now, these are the cheapest knives I can get hold. Well, they're not the cheapest, but these are really cheap knives, you know. They're made by a company called Penguin. They're thin bladed. That's why we use these knives. They're very thin bladed, so the onions don't stick to it when you're actually cutting quickly. Now, you know, you can use any professional chef knife that you want. That's up to you. It doesn't really matter for making curries. That's down to your choice and whether you want to look like some flashy chef with a really fancy samurai sword blade. Makes no difference, I've seen them all. Still got to cut the onion. Now, if you're working in a restaurant, you won't bother doing all this nonsense. You cut them into cubes like this, and when you start to fry them in the pan, you just smack them with the back of a spoon on the top. So basically, you would throw all your onions in. If they were all stuck together, you would just, and the onions split in the pan. So that's 4 onions cubed. Now, in fact, probably only got 3 in there because we had 8 and there's 5 here. Oof, can't count. Right. Onions sliced for frying. Okay, slice it whichever way you want. You can turn the onion round that way and slice it, or you can slice it that way. It's entirely up to you, but cut it in half and the onion sticks on the board, and then it's just and then you get all these segmented onions already done. So it's not a problem, it's easy. Just take your time, do the job. Now, it's not clever being fast. Don't try and cook fast, you don't need to. You're working at home, you know, you're not working in a restaurant cutting hundreds of onions, you know. So that's our job done. All these onions are sliced. Okay, in a bowl. It's a little bit of prep on this. I've got an old pan, one of my favourite old pans. It was non-stick originally, you know. But you know, the non-stick comes off, you've got aluminium underneath. An alloy pan. I've got quite a lot of oil here actually at the moment. There's some oil in your pan. You want a flame on. Now, we are going to quickly stir fry these cubes. They're going in there. And all we're doing is a little bit of a stir fry and a bit of charring. Now we want a little bit of charring, we don't want to cook. In there we're going to go with a little bit of sugar. Sugar optional, but you know, it's a little trick that it's going to caramelise those onions. Fantastic. Okay, we don't want to go much more than that. We're just trying to soften these up. It's a bit like a boiled onion really, you know. And that's going back in our bowl. Now just watch yourself, because these have oil on. We turn it down a little bit because it's already too high. We're not turning it down, we don't care about that blackening. What we do is we do with the tomatoes. A little bit of scorching on these tomatoes. Our onions in our pan. A pinch of garam masala. Stir the garam masala through your onions. Lid on. Put a lid on, put to one side. Tomatoes cooked. Tomatoes got a nice little bit of charring on there, look. A bit of smokiness. They're still solid. This is the thing, they're solid. You put a lid on that now. These tomatoes retain texture, you put them in towards the end of the cooking, and they've got a massive sweetness of the tomato. It really improves any mild flavoured tomato. Lid on. These are what I call the main onions. These are the fried onions. And look, we don't worry about the pan. Oil. This one, they need to be brown and blackened. Now you can cook these in batches if you so wish, that's up to you. I'm going to cook it all in. And this one, don't panic over it because we actually want to brown these. Brown and blackened. That's our flavour. Well, our onions here actually. Again, a little bit of sugar. This trick is optional, you don't have to do it, it's entirely up to you. If you don't want to put sugar in, don't put it in, just fry them down. Okay, they're done enough. You can take it as far as you want. You can blacken them and crisp them and do whatever. But that's enough for me because it's going to go in the curry. So we just need to transfer that to our bowl. Okay, it's curry time. Hang on. I'm using oil, we've got loads of it. Now it's a straightforward, easy cook, this one. In there with some garlic, ginger. Quick whiz. Spices in. Oh, lovely smell. Right, I'm using mixed powder in here just to make it a little bit easier. But you know, I'll leave a recipe list in there, and you would put in 2 teaspoons of coriander, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. But I'm using mixed powder, so I've got 1 tablespoon. So the usual, just bloom out those spices in with our onion paste. Now it's a bit darker because it's been right at the back of the fridge, so it's nearly frozen. And then we're going in there with all our chicken. Start to cook that in there. You know, I've got one of these new wooden spoony things, and I tell you, I can't get on with it. It doesn't fit in my hand properly. It's very thin. It's made out of bamboo, though. Anyway, not to worry. Some good old chunks of chicken in there. I think I might have cut it too big. That means tomorrow's curry's too big too, because I've cut loads. It's just the usual really. Just try and cook it off a little bit in there, keep stirring it over. We don't want anything to burn on the bottom of the pan, it's just the usual. Now there's quite enough of oil in there already, as you can see, so I haven't gone in with any water yet. Now if your onion paste didn't contain too much oil, you might have to add a little bit of water. Right, we're going to go in there with our tomato puree. We'll give that a little mix in. Oh, splashing now, look, this thing is too big. Now we are just going to cook that tomato in there a little bit, because even though the tomato puree has been watered down 1 to 1, it's still sour. So make sure you just give it a little cooking in there. This is where you could put in sugar if you wanted a little bit of sugar in there to counterbalance that tomato puree. I don't think it needs it just at the moment. I can smell the sourness going. I think it'll be absolutely fine. A little bit more cooking on here and we'll be going in with some water. Because after all we're doing at the moment is cooking with a paste. There's no curry in there. But you know, this is the secret about using this paste. You can cook away and cook everything more or less, and then put the water in to make up the curry that you actually want. All you've got to do is make sure you keep it moving on the bottom. An easy way to cook. little. Probably about a cupful actually. Now this is where we're building up to a thick paste or a thick curry sauce, and this thing is going to bubble. And as you can see, we've got a fantastic curry sauce already. Now this is going to splish splash everywhere. Now if you've got a lid, you could put a lid on. In fact, I might do actually. So we want to cook that chicken through just a little bit longer. Okay, for this dish, you know, coriander is optional. Okay, garnish with coriander over the end, but if you want oops, I've dropped one in there, look. If you want coriander in your curry, put it in, but it's optional. One thing which is mandatory that you do not put in a dopiaza, that is methi leaves. Methi leaves again is optional, but it is not in a dopiaza. Okay, with this curry, it's a little bit watery look, as you can see, but it's a nice curry sauce. And the reason it's watery is because we're going to fill it full of onions. Okay, now I'm going to bob some coriander in there. Like I say, this is 100% optional. No fenugreek leaves. Nice little bit of garam masala over there. Remember our onions. Now you can keep some of these back for service and put over the top if you so wish. In fact, we probably will do. Probably something like that. The rest are going back in here. So now we've already got a thick curry with onions in. But this is only one onions, and dopiaza's 2 onions. But look how thick and lush that is already with those onions. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, this curry is a very good curry, but I'll tell you, the day after curry, when you reheat it with all the onions in, it is really special. And then I'm going to put all that in there. Don't forget, we're making for at least 4 people. I don't think the pan's big enough. So what you have it going on in here, you have these onions which are melted into the curry sauce, but they're still onions. And these onions we've just tipped in have more substance, a little bit more bite. So we're just going to cook them through there to warm them back up again, and then we're ready for service. Remember our tomatoes? I'm going to whip one of those out of there actually. In with our tomatoes. Don't have to stir them all the way in. You just lay them under the top there like that. They warm back through, and you know where they are to scoop them out for a portion when you serve up. That's it. Flame off. That's a simple curry made. That looks absolutely amazing. Smells great in here. So all we got to do now is serve some up. Come on, look at that. Chicken dopiaza made. That is superb. Oh, come on. onions, curry sauce. Oh. With crunch. Chicken. Oh. That is absolutely amazing. That is superb. That is a fantastic Dopiaza. Really tasty, nice and sweet. Okay, we added a bit of sugar to the onions, but you know, you can taste the sweetness of the onions. That is superb. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. Catch you in the next video.